What's up, guys? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time, and it is so hot in the studio that I had decided to cut my hair and my beard to cool off. Very cool. Guys, it's Monday already, November 1st, 2021 AD, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, 2021. All very cool. I have some fun stuff to play for you. Did you guys hear about the Tiki torches at Glenn Youngkin's outside his rally somewhere? It was a hit job by Democrats and rhinos and commies. Liars, in short, right? Liars. And it was a smear job, an ongoing smear job against the whites. It's so wrong. And I hope you had a nice weekend. I had a nice weekend. I played soccer. I shouldn't have. If you see me cringe, I pulled a muscle. I might have even torn it a little. But other things to get to. Crime going up. Evil misguided mothers pushing the vaccines on their children. Those 27% of parents doing that, it's pretty sick. And I have some new music to play for you, but not right now. I'll wait until the end of this first hour, guys. So let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Press 1 if you want Hake to go for the... oh, gosh. The full Tom Selleck mustache. I'm saying mustache. He said some other kind of stash. Hake looking fresh. That kid sounds just like Hake. Hake looks like a Marine. I know somebody who was not a fan. I got to read this. Shout out to my Telegram listeners. Max Danger says, Hake without the beard is sad. Max Danger says, the beard lent Hake an air of authority. Now his childishly young appearance and feminine chin. What? Feminine chin? Make it hard to take him seriously. Ouch. Ouch. That hurts almost as much as my torn quadricep or whatever this thing is. I think it's my hip flexor. Psh, what a mess. Trying to do that. You know, you've heard of weekend warriors? Weekend warriors are guys who don't work out during the week and then all of a sudden they go out and play football or whatever on the weekends. Well, I'm like once in several years warrior, and that's not a good idea. What a mess. I played soccer and now I'm hurt. I could barely hobble. I almost called up one of these guys to give me a ride, but I'm tough. Don't even try me. Guys, I want to get to some stuff. Bring it back. Let the beard grow back. Says didn't do nothing. If you're listening on the audio feed, oh my gosh, that's shocking. I'm still not used to seeing myself with no hair and no beard. I have a little bit of hair. I cut it 1 on the side, 3 on the top, and a sloppy. If I show you the back, should I show them the back? No, I better not. Even Chris is cringing at that idea. I did a quick job. It was for Halloween. Oh, but I did dress up for Halloween, guys. Check out Chupacabra's Hake. No, I did not dress up like the monster Chupacabras. I dressed up like a soccer player. That I played soccer. This was 10 years ago. I was playing in the Baldwin Park, California Soccer League, Chupacabras. And on my chest, you see, if you're watching the video feed, I'm wearing a soccer jersey, custom made for our athletic club, Chupacabras AC. Chupacabras and you look at the thing, or chupacabra, it's a goat sucker. If you zoom in on that little monster thing, monster symbol, that's a goat sucker. It's like a vampire that eats goat blood or something like that. It's a Mexican monster. Don't say that, Toronto. But anyway, that was me at Halloween. Anyway, I have to show you guys or present to you guys some evil stuff going on in the January 6th jail conditions. January 6th jail conditions. I saw this Twitter thread put out by a lawyer named Brad Geyer, or Geyer, Geyer. I believe he's a lawyer. And he shared this lawyer from a rally attendee, mostly peaceful protest attendee, who went into the Capitol building ill-advised. And he may not have been, I don't know, he may have been, I don't know. But he's hardly, he was basically nicer than any Black Lives Matter rioter. Am I right? I think I'm right. But he's a jail inmate, and he's been in jail for some time now. It was corroborated by a female reporter, by the way, who seems honest, Julie Kelly, whom I recommend following if you want to know what's really going on with regard to this January 6th attack on your fellow Americans. She tweeted out, "I'm getting questions about whether this is legit. Nate has been in D.C. Gitmo," she calls it D.C. Gitmo, which is reference to Guantanamo Bay, right? I think that's what the reference is. "Since the spring," he writes, what he writes is corroborated, she says, by others. And you can see her article from June of 2021, Letters from a D.C. Jail on American Greatness, amgreatness, I think .com. And she writes, or her editor writes, "The rule of law for anyone involved in the events of January 6th, the mostly peaceful Capitol protest, some of which turned into a riot, which I was not for, kind of suckers, right? People got caught up. Some people were probably feds. The mainstream media and the federal government is quite opaque about it. Defendants are presumed guilty before being proven innocent. So the justice has been flipped on its head. U.S. justice system is innocent unless proven guilty. Innocent unless proven guilty. So let me read this thread to you guys, because it's this one guy's story put out by a lawyer, and maybe it's a tall tale, but I think there's some truth to it. Brad Geyer reposts this man's, Nathaniel DeGrave's, letter to us. "Dear fellow Americans, I never thought I'd write a letter like this, but we're living in very different times. This is my cry for help. My name is Nathan DeGrave, and as a non-violent participant at the January 6th rally, I've spent the last 9 months detained as a political prisoner in Pod C2B at the D.C. DOC, Department of Corrections, District of Columbia. D.C. is a corrupt place." Speaking of feds, James looking like Jack Bauer. Otherwise known as DC's Gitmo, the conditions here for January 6ers have been inhumane. In fact, some inmates are even begging to be transferred to Guantanamo Bay itself, where they even have more acceptable standards. And just a side note to interrupt this letter from this guy. I've seen the Washington Compost put out stuff like, "Oh, these are conditions suffered by people of color in the D.C. jail for years, but only now that white people are suffering, now they're getting attention." Stupid. They're getting extra bad attention, according to this guy. Listen to this. "Class action lawsuits are being filed against this prison. Even the ACLU has gotten involved. Now you know they're up to shenanigans. ACLU is going to use it for evil, just like what they did to the Charlottesville protesters. Unite the Right rally? I'm going to get to that. But the ACLU are evil. But they pretend to support civil liberties for Americans, but they don't. Senators Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Greene have since attempted to gain access to this facility and inspect conditions of the jail, only to be denied, this guy says. The vile filth of what has become our daily life is being illegally hidden from members of our own Congress, he says. This is a guy who went to the January 6th protest, went inside the Capitol, and apparently did something that gave the excuse to the feds to arrest him and put him in jail indefinitely. Don't you have a right to a speedy trial? I don't think so. So let me tell you about what me and many other January 6ers have been experiencing. He means January 6ers and I are experiencing in DC's Gitmo. It's my hope with media exposure and awareness of the American public, something may be done that this may never happen to anyone again. Our conditions. For the first 120 days in DC's Gitmo, January 6ers experienced daily lockdowns for 23 to 24 hours before being allowed to leave our small 120 square foot cell. 120 square feet. I did the math. Math and Hake. Well, this one, at least this Hake, can be a little tough. 120 square feet, that's like a 10 by 12. 10 feet by 12 feet. Pretty small. Pretty small. The physical and mental anguish that results from this kind of severe isolation has caused many people to undergo rapid mental decline, he says. You got to be tough to be able to handle this stuff. And a lot of people nowadays, including mostly peaceful Trump-supporting protesters, are not able to cope with that. We got to get tough. But he says, as a result, a large percentage of us heavily medicated. Wow. With anti-anxiety and antidepressant drugs, which helps us cope with the psychological and mental abuse we endure, he says. What a setup, huh? Then they're going to be on drugs, and then they have even less power. Because you say, oh, they're a mentally ill person. They can't have a gun. Many times the little recreation, is stripped away if our cell isn't up to the standards of the guard on duty. This changes from day to day. January 6ers have lost recreational time, and out-of-cell activity anytime news interviews about the jail are aired on TV, he says. So you've heard about these different protests of these people. Oh, the January 6th rally. There was one that was described in speculation by us, but probably true, as a honeypot Justice for J6 rally, right? Probably after that thing, according to this guy, they lost their rec time. Discrimination. People speak up about our conditions, rallies held in our name. We lose our rec time, he says. Free time. We'll probably have a lockdown upon the publishing of this letter, this guy says. So I've already warned those I know in advance. Masks, he says, as in the China virus, communist masks that they force you to wear. I'm covering up my face. Are weaponized and used against us, even though we never leave the facility. And officers have walked in with the sole intention of needing to write 20 to 30 disciplinary reports against January 6ers, which adversely affects our chances of release and causes loss of privilege, phone time, and commissary. Masks need to be covering both nose and mouth at all times. So not only are you in jail, you also have to wear a mask. Imagine that. Some of you guys wear masks all day at work. What a mess. And these people are wearing it all day inside their cells, apparently. Adversely affects our chances of being released, blah, blah, blah. January 6ers are always respectful to the employees around us, but COs maintain the need to invent reasons for discipline. Privileged legal documents have been confiscated and gone missing. Oh, the AC is on. Can you make sure? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's open. Confiscated, gone missing from various cells. Highly sensitive discovery. Video evidence under attorney-client privilege is watched by employees during our legal calls. Jordan Mink, for example, he's another January 6er, I guess, had all discovery taken by ERT, either a January 6er or a lawyer, by ERT officers on August 23rd, despite the objection of his attorney. Okay, so he was a January 6er. They handcuffed him, searched his room, and proceeded to take all video evidence in his possession. Additionally, legal visits take 2 to 3 weeks or more to be scheduled, leaving little time to discuss our defense and prepare for trial. The extreme medical neglect. You've heard about this one. This facility has caused a variety of adverse illnesses and diseases. Some show signs of scurvy. What's scurvy? That sounds like a third world or ancient times. Well, pirate times stuff. Some even have COVID-like symptoms, but medical personnel have refused to treat it. Christopher Worrell, for example, an inmate with cancer, also broke his hand. I think this might have been the guy who needed wrist surgery in prison and requires surgery, both completely ignored. Federal Judge Royce Lamberth got to the point where on October 12th, he filed contempt of court charges against the warden of the D.C. Department of Corrections, claiming Worrell's civil rights have been violated, demanding the U.S. Attorney General inquire. U.S. Attorney General is a Biden guy. That's Merrick Garland, not a Christian and not a decent person. A sleazy, horrible-sounding person. He sounds like the worst smoke. Usually I like smoker voices, but this guy's smoker voice, if it is a smoker voice, is disgusting. That's Merrick Garland. He's the top cop in the United States. So he's going to investigate what's going on? Give me a break. Fox guarding the henhouse. Another inmate, Peter Stager, waited 4 months to receive his CPAP breathing machine. Needed an MRI since spring. All ignored by staff. The harsh, unlivable conditions of our unit has caused health hazards that defy the Department of Health regulations. At least 5 occasions, raw sewage overflowed our unit, causing human fecal matter to flood the rooms and floors. Also, in addition to mold on cell walls, as well as the rusty pipes and dirty water that flows from the sinks. White rags turn brown when exposed to water from our faucets. Gross, huh? We are undergoing severe nutritional deficiencies and starvation. This is a January 6th guy in a D.C. jail. For breakfast this morning, I received a tray of flavorless paste, 2 slices of bread, and a slice of bologna. Bologna or bologna? Lunches usually consist of rice and beans, but we'll get cold chicken or beef patties if we're lucky. For dinner, sometimes fed a diet of cheese sandwiches and bologna and cheese 4 to 5 times a week. Without commissary, people like myself are forced to starve. I suffer headaches, nausea, almost a regular basis from malnutrition and constant hunger, subjected to almost lost 15 pounds since I've been detained. Our rights to personal hygiene always neglected. Razors, you may have heard about this. I saw it on a headline. Razors are prohibited, and inmates are forced to either go unshaved and grow long beards or use a razor-free cream that burns and irritates the skin, he says. Wow. Many other jails have allowed use of razors without incident. Haircuts are also prohibited for unvaccinated inmates. Wow. For me, it's been nearly 9 months. I look virtually unrecognizable in the condition I am in. I fear my family would not recognize me, this guy says. A guy who went to the mostly peaceful January 6th protest. And these people barely acted out. Barely. It pales in comparison to any Black Lives Matter riot. And how are those guys treated? They're released quickly. If they're even arrested in the first place. The feds are hunting these people down and throwing them in jail. Some of them are out, but it's an obvious double standard. Communism, I say. Anyway, this guy goes on. We're forced to undergo humiliating strip searches. That's when they force them to take off all their clothes. All visitors being thoroughly checked for contraband. If it's a legal visit, we're placed on a 14-day quarantine with no out-of-cell time, even if your attorney is vaccinated and tests negative for the China virus. Ridiculous, huh? They're weaponizing how they treat these people in the name of the Chinese virus. Oh, we want to keep them safe. Commies, right? Visits with friends or family members for unvaccinated inmates are never allowed, he says. As a result, people have skipped critical meetings with their counsel, never get an opportunity to see friends and family. Video visitation available for the rest of the jail, but restricted in the January 6th pod. Mail is delayed for months. Phone calls limited to a maximum of pre-approved 12 numbers. Anyone else in our extended family otherwise we'd like to call, we're pretty much out of luck. Religious services protected under the First Amendment, not provided to January 6ers. Neither are in-person classes or other activities available to the rest of the jail. An inmate named Ryan Samsel, S-A-M-S-E-L, instead attempted to organize his own Bible study inside the pod until he was viciously beaten and left for dead by correctional officers. Wonder what happened with that. He suffered a broken eye socket and brain damage, this guy says, as a result of the vicious attack. I think this is the one that I read about some months back. He's now permanently blind in one eye, this guy says. On another occasion, Scott Fairlamb confronted by an officer in the middle of the night and his life threatened once once the officer's body cam was disabled, he says. Many, like myself, are afraid we could be the next victim. Last but not least, we experience racism from many guards. These guys are white. The January 6th, mostly peaceful protesters, many of them white. Being the only white Republicans in the entire jail. Because criminals are usually Democrats and more often POCs, by the way. False narrative has been passed around the jail and the corrections officers that we are white supremacists. We are not. And even if they were, you treat them right. Even the so-called white supremacists treat others decently for the most part, except for Dylan Roof. The inmate population is predominantly black, so we're at risk being here because of this false narrative, because the blacks hate the so-called white supremacists. The guards are mostly liberal. Migrants from Africa. Whoa. Reminds me of that guy who shot Ashley Babbitt. He seemed like a migrant from Africa. He just seemed like it. I don't know. The guy who shot Ashley Babbitt and killed her. Didn't he seem like a African migrant? Who have been conditioned to hate us and to hate America. January 6ers have been mocked, beaten, ridiculed by guards for singing the national anthem. Yeah, there was one guy who got out and totally turned on Trump. He turned on Trump, wrote a letter, and I read that letter last week or 2 weeks ago, denouncing Trump, saying he's ultimately responsible for this stuff. And he said that he had to get out because in their wing, they were singing the Star-Spangled Banner. It was almost cult-like, his lawyer claimed. It was almost cult-like because they're singing patriotic songs to keep their spirits up. Give me a break. The corrections officers despise our politics and the love we have for this country. At one point, an officer even yelled, F America. Only he didn't just say F. He said the F you blank blank, America, and threatened to lock us down for a week if we attempted to sing the national anthem again. Crazy, huh? It's ridiculous. He says that he's been misportrayed. He says, no, I am not a terrorist, extremist, or any... This guy, his name is, let me just scroll down, Nathaniel DeGrave, and he's a January 6th protester. He may have participated in a little bit of rioting, or maybe he looked like he was a little out of control, but give me a break. So he says, more than anything, I'm a red-blooded patriot. I love this country more than anything. Unfairly prosecuted and definitely overcharged. I never assaulted anyone. Well, it's not news for them to be overcharged. This is not the first time. Back 9 years ago, was it 9 years ago? George Zimmerman was overcharged for killing Trayvon Martin in self-defense. He was charged with murder. Even Ben Shapiro said that was an overcharge. Maybe manslaughter would have been an appropriate charge, if any. Ridiculous. So these people are for sure overcharged. I never assaulted anyone, this guy says, never destroyed property or stolen anything. I walked into wide open doors to enter the Capitol, so he didn't step through any broken windows. Along with my camera crew, hoping to get a rally on video, is never even armed at any point inside the Capitol. They pretended it was an insurrection. Nobody was armed. Nobody was armed. No guns. Yeah, there were some militia people outside. I don't think any militia people went inside the building. I could be wrong. But the militia people are quite... The militia people, I never heard that they fired any shot. By the way, armed insurrection. So phony. Yes, I wore a costume the prosecutor refers to as paramilitary gear and body armor, but it was for the movie and nothing of the sort. 9 months later, here I sit with 10 years worth of charges and no hope for a future. The surveillance video shows absolutely no signs of assault. This guy supposedly bragged on camera that he punched somebody or was going to punch somebody. Maybe he did get excited. But saying that is not evidence that he actually did it. Who knows? I think it's because they're fully aware this footage is questionable at worst and exonerates me at best. Don't be fooled by the media. I'm a loving and peaceful person, no history of violence. The weaponized DOJ and their blatant resentment of my respect for President Trump is putting me in a situation that makes me feel helpless to the current situation. Despite other January 6ers and I experiencing unthinkable conditions, all of us remain positive and hopeful. Justice will prevail. We maintain a love for this country and the Constitution like no other. That's cool. I hope that's true. He says the government has essentially canceled me. I've lost everything as a result of this unlawful detainment for the last 9 months. Successful business I spent 13 years of my life on, my apartment in Las Vegas, Nevada. Social media accounts with a lifetime of memories, you name it. Don't be bitter, man. Don't be bitter. Chin up, King. He says, following my arrest, my best friend of 12 years robbed my apartment, stole my cat, and hacked my personal Instagram with 100,000 plus followers. Wow. You guys familiar with Nathaniel DeGrave? Since then, I often go between feelings of hopefulness and moments of depression. What a mess. What a mess. And he has medical conditions too now. Lack of nutrition. Somebody, War Eagle says, I wonder if Trump ever helped him out. I don't know. They're going after Trump too. Crazy, huh? That's wild. I just had to share that with you because it's an ongoing thing. And it's out of sight, out of mind. What a shame. Ryan J. Riley, just to give you a little bit of balance, Nathaniel DeGrave supposedly said on this video, and I don't have the video for you, but he posts this guy named Ryan J. Riley. I punched this guy like 5 times in the blanking head, said Nathaniel DeGrave, who now claims he never assaulted anyone and was a non-violent participant. He didn't see my face, though, he said as the camera rolled. Huh. And then there was another one where he was just looking like a dressed in all black, dressed up, right? And honestly, you go to any rally today, you basically need to wear body armor because Antifa may attack you, especially in Washington, D.C. It's honestly somewhat ill-advised to even go to rallies now. Even before this thing. You've seen people get murdered? I know I did. Crazy, huh? So sick. Well, guys, you can call in 888-775-3773. I'm still not used to seeing myself. Oh, by the way, ignore this part. I got a new patch on my laptop. It says, get a job, and I also have the beautiful Confederate flag. States' rights, baby. And the South will rise again. Let me push that down. On my laptop, the South will rise again. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, clever. Lesco. Brandon says, Hake with the khaki shorts and dark sunglasses. Fed like a mug. Oh, man. I have to present to you, speaking of feds and fake racism and false flags and all this stuff, I have to present to you. You guys hear about the Tiki torches outside the Youngkin bus when he was, I guess it was Friday or something like that. Was it Friday? When did this thing happen? NBC 29 reporter, female reporter, Forever Tar Heel, Elizabeth Holmes, tweeted a picture of these guys. It was a rainy day, and so they looked silly. Guys and a gal, and I use the term gal a little bit loosely, and a black, too, a black dude. Looked like he was black. Maybe he was Afro-Latino. But not Nick Fuentes. No, this guy was actually pretty dark. Wearing their white button-up, button-down dress shirts and khaki pants. That's the, thank you. Appreciate the haircut compliment. For those of you who are complimenting. The patches really compliment the new cut. Wearing these tan pants, they call them khaki, right? And we're holding Tiki torches. Tiki torches are those tall things you stick in the ground, and it's a little light or keeps the bugs away maybe or whatever. Gives a little bit of warmth. And it's reminiscent of the Charlottesville rally, the day before the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally, the night before, when they said, Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. because they don't want the people in power bringing in all of these immigrants and replacing the whites, white replacement. And they're bragging about it, but then they turn around and call it a conspiracy theory. Give me a break. But this lady says these men approached Youngkin's bus as it pulled up, saying what sounded like, "We're all in for Glenn." And she tweeted, I don't know if I put this picture in the folder, but it's fine. I'll show you the news report very shortly here. Here they are standing in front of a bus as a campaign event at Guadalajara, which I assume is a Mexican restaurant, because I don't think that he was in Mexico. So it turned out that these people were not all in for Glenn. They were Lincoln Project members. Lincoln Project is a bunch of rhinos turned Democrats. You know, like National Review type rhinos who hated never Trumpers. Some of them became Democrats, and many of them will continue to be rhinos, neocons, right? And they're communists. Listen to this news report. It turned out it wasn't all in for Glenn. Clip 12, I think. Listen to this.
With such a tight race, Youngkin is making his way around the area, hoping to attract new voters and meet his longtime supporters. But something disheartening and tough for people in Charlottesville to see happened at Youngkin's first stop.
This was the scene at Guadalajara on East Market Street in Charlottesville. Inside, it looked like a regular campaign appearance. Outside, a painful and tasteless reminder of the August 2017 Unite the Right violence. When we asked if he knew who these people with tiki torches and khakis were, Youngkin said,
"I think they work for Terry McAuliffe, and I'm sure he sent them. This is what he does. This is what 43-year politicians do, is when they see their 43-year critical career sunsetting, coming to an end, they'll do anything to win, and he's doing anything to win. And so he's paying people to show up and act silly at our rallies, and the reality is no one's paying attention to him."
McAuliffe's team denied the accusation. They say this was not us or anyone affiliated with our campaign. There is one candidate in this race who has embraced white nationalists, and his name is Glenn Youngkin. The Lincoln Project, which calls itself an American Political Action Committee formed to defeat Trumpism, has since admitted to being behind the incident. It says the demonstration was, quote, "our way of reminding Virginians what happened in Charlottesville 4 years ago, the Republican Party's embrace of those values, and Glenn Youngkin's failure to condemn it."
Just to reiterate, the Lincoln Project issued a statement this evening admitting it was behind the incident in Charlottesville. We have its full statement on our website.
Crazy, huh? Phony. And they're pretending like they were on the up and up about this all along. The Lincoln Project. Just smearing the name of Lincoln. Was Lincoln a good guy? I don't know. But the way that they're using him makes me suspicious. They do the same thing to, actually, they've done the same thing to Trump. They do the same thing to Reagan. So who knows? But Glenn Greenwald on Twitter said, "Don't try claiming Lincoln Project, perpetrator of this fraud, isn't associated with the Democrat Party, aside from the fact that Steve Schmidt, who was one of the co-founders, I think, announced he's now a registered Democrat. Their biggest funder, aside from liberal billionaires, is the DNC-associated super PAC." Crazy, huh? Some DNC-associated super PAC, he says. Chuck Ross said the person taking credit for collaborating with Lincoln Project Tiki Torch thing at first acted like she was surprised about it earlier in the day. So these people tried to play a trick. They tried to sneak away with it as if it wasn't them being involved in it. Lincoln Project's Twitter account retweeted McAuliffe's campaign's outrage until they got caught. This says AG Conservative or AG Hamilton guy on Twitter. Stephen Miller, not to be confused with the based one. Red Steez Stephen Miller. Well, I don't know. I like him. I'm not saying that he's not based. I just don't know him. But he tweeted at this Charlie guy who's associated, I think, with the Lincoln Project. "Charlie, what happened to this tweet? Charlie, why'd you change your Twitter handle?" And the tweet, Charlie Olaf, says, "Wow, at a campaign stop for Glenn Youngkin this morning, people holding tiki torches and chanting, 'We're all in for Glenn.' Disgusting reference to the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, for which they're still political prosecutions and phony, what are those called? Frivolous lawsuits against the peaceful protesters, the Unite the Right people, the whites who got their things, got their approval, did their due diligence. And to this day, they're being smeared and attacked.
To this day.
And called, they're being called stuff like instigators or insiders, inciting violence. They're being called, what else are they being called? Like what I felt like I was doing when I cut my hair. Fugitives. They're being called fugitives over this thing. Stupid thing, I think. Michael Tracy, liberal independent journalist, said useful of Virginia Democrats to prove beyond doubt that they're willing to literally fabricate the purported threat of white supremacists for explicitly electoral purposes. Because it's Glenn Youngkin, the rhino Republican, and I heard that he was a rhino, and I do believe it. I heard that he was for the taking down of the Confederate, the battle flag, the reminiscent of the battle flag, the rebel flag. All in this pretense that this racism exists. He was right calling them acting silly. Versus Terry McAuliffe. Terry McAuliffe, am I correct in thinking that guy was he was a Clinton guy, am I right? I think he was a Clinton guy. Terry McAuliffe. He's already been the former governor of Virginia. Now he wants to be governor again. Babylon B was pretty funny. They said KKK member posing by Glenn Youngkin's bus turned out to be Ralph Northam, who's the current Democrat governor of Virginia. And he wore blackface before, which I don't care if he wore blackface. I've been black for Halloween before. It's funny. It's cool. I was black for Halloween before I even knew it was called blackface, or I'd forgotten that it was called blackface. And then one of my liberal professor friends was like, "You're wearing blackface for Halloween, and at the time I was a substitute teacher, and you're a substitute teacher." Dumb college liberals think there's things that are controversial when they're not. It's just fun. It's just funny. Man, I just put full on China ink, India ink, just turned myself black. Oh man. Somebody said that I looked like Ali G, but I was actually black skin. And I've been a cholo a couple of times, a soccer player a couple of times, homeless guy one time, I think. But that's the controversy with Ralph Northam, who's a Democrat. That's kind of spooky. That's funny. Kostin Rexu called that kind of spooky. Clever. Only reason I know that is because of that, what's that guy's name? Who's that guy? Go ahead, make my day. Clint Eastwood. He's like, what are you spooks up to? He said that to blacks over in Detroit in this movie, Gran Torino, about those Hmong people. It's not pronounced Hmong, but it's spelled Hmong. Those Asians who are taking over the neighborhood, and the character played by Clint Eastwood was not happy about it, but then he befriended a couple of one guy and one gal, and she was raped by fellow Hmong people. And he confronts the guys. What a mess. But Ralph Northam, the bad thing about him was he was supporting delivering a baby and then deciding whether or not to let the baby die. And he's a doctor. What a psycho. He said that on a radio show, it came out. But that was not the controversy. The controversy was he dressed up like Michael Jackson, purportedly. And it was in a yearbook video, or a yearbook photo, some years back. Sick. Gran Torino was meh. Whatever. I liked it at the time. I haven't watched it in 11 years, probably. Blackface is a human right. Yeah. But it's a silly attack on Americans. The Unite the Right rally, it was not, this woman called it Unite the Right violence. Unite the Right was not violent. Well, one group of guys they were purposely getting in fights, but they were there to fight people who were there for a fight. Antifa, Black Lives Matter scumbags who were attacking them. And so they were willfully fighting back. It takes two to tango. Hake looks like he is 15. This is A. Phillips. Yeah, B. Svelto says that Hamong boy actor claimed he regretted working on that movie because of Asian racism. Simp. Yeah, I heard something like that. I presented a headline. I didn't really read the article, so I don't know what exactly he was saying, but he was pretending that this thing nationalized or popularized anti-Asian racism. Psh. Why? Just because he said, I stacked up gooks like you over in Nam or Korea, wherever this character, this old white man, American character so-called served in the military. And I slept like a baby. That's my Clint Eastwood. I like Clint Eastwood. Even though he's probably a bit of a liberal, but he's like a normal American. Hey, where is the beard? It's in my trash can. What a shame. I'm not used to seeing my face. It's been like 6 years. I got lazy. I was busy working. We just had a flood in this building, and I was producing the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and it was rough. Anyway, let me get to some super chats, guys. I appreciate it. You can call in 888-775-3773. Bibby42 says, with a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. I don't know if this is Hake or not. IDK. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if he stretches his back. Oh, yeah. Much needed. Lin Yun Chin says, looks like blah blah good hair stole your heart and your facial hair. What the? At least you got white baby engineers as compensation. God bless your home, Lord Good Hair. Thank you, Lin Yun Chin. We shall see. We shall see. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, Lin Yun Chin, but thank you. Don't count your white baby engineers before they're hatched. Single mom doing her best says Northam sunk our budget deeper in the toilet, advanced quote-unquote gay rights nonsense, and made it that state employees, with exception of those in Congress, to take the vaccine, mandate it. McAuliffe is a wannabe Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, unless it's Chris Cuomo, wants everyone, private and state, to take the vax. Wow. Over there in Virginia. I used to think Virginia was the beautiful South. Isn't that where I thought he was great. Thomas Jefferson, I'm not sure. I wasn't around. Isn't that where he grew up? Single mom doing her best says Youngkin is a rhino. Like he condemned the battle flag, the rebel flag. He condemned the rebel flag. At least that's what I heard from a reliable source. Our resident, one of our resident, what's his name? Historians. I believe Asmodor put that out. That he condemned the battle flag. Stupid. Kissing up to fake black victimhood. Normal blacks don't care about the battle flag. Only the radicals who hate America anyway do. It's so ridiculous. I'm going to get to more of that attack on America. Youngkin is a rhino, but he's all we got. McAuliffe has his own cackling Kamala. Well, I added in cackling. As a running mate. Hala Yolala. Hala Oyala. Who is McAuliffe running mate? Running mate. I don't know. Is it? Wait a minute. I don't know. I'm looking at this NBC News article from May of this year, and there's a couple of Jennifers, at least one of whom might be black, female, trying to run for office. Silly. Really silly. Thank you, single mom doing her best. Yet another one from single mom doing her best. Northam prides himself as being the first southern state to eliminate the death penalty. That's not a good thing. Ridiculous. More super chats from Odyssey, guys. odyssee.com/@the Hake Report. Shaggy Boy says, who's the smooth skin? I know. Takes me getting used to, too. I kind of like it. I'm happy. I'm not used to feeling air on my face, that part of my face. 6 years, man. 5 to 6 years. Thank you, Shaggy Boy. Let's see. Brandon M says, Hake shaved his soul for a Casio watch. Nice. Maybe that's not nice. Asmodor says the Lincoln Project is running cover for McAuliffe's campaign in Virginia Democrats. Every one of the actors has been identified as either working for McAuliffe or Young Virginia Democrats. And there's a black guy who is dressed up as a Tiki torch person. Because there's always some blacks and POCs. It's pretty much the Tea Party, the alt-right, the alt-right of yore, the Tea Party of yore, all the decent people have, like, pretty much representative of America. You know, maybe a slightly less than representative because POCs, for the most part, the so-called people of color, they're a little bit less likely to be sensible. They're brainwashed into the fake racism thing. But look at these. It's a bunch of phonies. Those are according to Asmodor, they've been identified as either working for McAuliffe or Young Virginia Democrats. And the media was cued in and acted like it was real that the Lincoln Project is taking the heat off McAuliffe. Anyway, Cheesehead69 says, who is this man hosting the Hake Report? It's Hake. It's Hake. I'm guest hosting as myself. Man. Interesting. You know, I was about to tell you about the attack on Americans. Did you know? Am I like too outraged? Did you know that? Let me see if I can find this. It's American Indian Heritage Month today. I saw this yesterday. Apple calendar warned me about this. Apple are enemies of the people. They're commie capitalists. Commie capitalists. Supporting the destruction of America and American identity. I heard that when Rome was going down, the Romans lost track of what it meant to be Roman because they were so diverse and degenerate. Well, this is November. What do you think of when you think of November in terms of holidays? You think of Thanksgiving Day. That's when the Pilgrims celebrated and thanked God for the New World, right? Something like that. It's an American holiday, Thanksgiving. And the Indians helped us out too. Like, they taught us how to plant corn, I guess. And we were nice to them. They were nice to us. Yeah, did you know that? We were nice to the Indians. American Indians. I call them Indians because not to confuse with the India Indians. Injun Joe, for example, from Tom Sawyer. Because there were decent ones. The real Pocahontas might have been decent. I'm not sure. There was this man who helped us like explore or something like that. And he had this cool Indian name, American Indian name. But they're calling it First Day of American Indian Heritage Month. That's from the Apple calendar. Stupid. They're trying to take away from the American holiday of Thanksgiving and put in American Indian Heritage Month. They need to get their families back together. But no, they want to divide and conquer America, expand bitterness, make the kids think that they're so smart for not joining in with celebrating Christopher Columbus and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and Independence Day, July 4th. They weren't all nice. Many tried to genocide whites. Yeah, I know that. Hake. Geronimo was one of the good Indians. He was one of the good ones. There's been black posers who pretend to be racist whites, and they like, oh, I like that black guy. He's one of the good ones. Because there are a few. There's a few. So over the Indian thing, yeah. That's why I know that they weren't all nice. They were called merciless Indian savages by the writers of the Declaration of Independence. It's a fact. Squanto? Something like that? Tonto? No, that guy was from Long John Silver or something like that. Tonto or the... who is Tonto helping out? Who was helping out some guy? But there's always been like some decent Indians. But they're few and far between nowadays. They like to spread the bitterness and division against America. That flag is the genocidal flag of my people, and we're almost extinct. I'm mocking this American Indian guy who came up to Jesse Lee Peterson and a guy whom you might recognize who had his face bleeding from a frozen Coke can thrown at his head on July 4th, 1996 at an a Prop 187 rally. Prop 187 passed with flying colors here in California. We passed Lone Ranger. Thank you, Jim Justice. Lone Ranger. Tonto and Lone Ranger, I think. And this American Indian old guy, kind of fat and bitter, walks up and argues about the past. Oh, we need 10 million black men to join us. No, join America. Or ship out. Or stay on your reservation and be bitter. What a mess. Sick stuff. Hi-ho, silver away! Pocahontas did not exist, says O.D. Red Skull. I don't know. I have to show you this crazy incident before we get to the break, guys. This crazy crime. I saw this on Fox News. And I'm sharing it from the New York Post, which is a hit and miss, to say the least. New York Post. Molotov cocktail was thrown at a New York City deli, captured on video. It's psycho. What this footage is psycho. It's silent footage. Just play this. Go ahead and play it. Watch this if you're able to watch the video feed here, guys. Surveillance video. It's 9:54 a.m., so we started about 54 minutes ago, plus or minus. Surveillance footage released by the FDNY on Sunday, 53 minutes ago maybe, shows the moment a suspected arsonist chucked a Molotov cocktail, and he tried to throw another, into a Brooklyn deli on Saturday. Well, look at this. Joel Mangal, age 38, allegedly... Look at that. Look at that. Dude, this guy's like on fire, and he runs out of the building. Another guy jumps out and runs. It looks like a... might have to play this a couple of times for me. It looks like a... they call it a deli, but it looks kind of like just a shop, market. One of those little markets. This homeless guy, or this other guy, watches him, and he knocks it down out of his hand and stops him. Good for you, man. Good on you. And then you see the puddle of the Molotov cocktail juice, or whatever that stuff is, drifting towards this parked car, running off the sidewalk. And then the guy runs away. Crazy, he tried to throw another one in there. And I'm hoping, maybe it's Joel or Joel Mangal, age 38, allegedly carried out the fiery attack at NR Rock Deli, Brooklyn area. got into an argument there with staff, according to FDNY and law enforcement services. Look at this guy. Yikes. He allegedly threw that Molotov cocktail after getting into a dispute with a staff member at the deli. Footage from outside the deli shows the suspect igniting one of the incendiary devices before tossing it in through the front door. Gas bomb struck inside near the deli display case. Dude, it went up like quick, according to the video. Covering the glass and surrounding areas with flames. I mean, I guess that's what it does, because it's gas. What is it? What's inside Molotov cocktails? Some type of accelerant, right? Mangle allegedly tried to throw a second Molotov cocktail into the deli, but was stopped by a witness who smacked the explosive out of his hand. Nice. That was cool. That was cool to watch. Good old New Yorkers. Am I right? 2 deli workers fled the store after the attack. One suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Mangle arrested by fire marshals, charged with arson, assault, reckless endangerment, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal mischief. Yeah, how do you get into an argument and have Molotov cocktails handy? I wonder, Mangle, M-A-N-G-A-L. Is it Joel or Joel? Mostly peaceful arson. He'll be treated better than the January 6thers, I bet. Gas is too gasoline's stupid. That's what's inside the Molotov cocktails. I don't know. Molotov cocktail, it's a bottle and gasoline or some type of juice, right? You know, fire juice. And like a rag. Stuff a rag in there, I think. And you light the rag and then it goes in and boom. Crazy. And you throw it. It's what rioters use. And Black Lives Matter agitators. And people think that it's a good thing. Terrible stuff going on in the world. Guys, we are close to the top of the hour. I'm really pumped about this. I want to share some cool music. Well, I think it's cool. You guys might not like it. There was a guy on IG, on our IG Live. You can call in the meantime, but he's all, play 90-pound wuss. Okay is no good. Okay is no good. And I saw this. This reminds me of a super chat from Big Bump. Big Bump is like, yeah, I like okay. What's it to you? Marty is/was very talented. That's a reference to last week's guy, Marty Anderson of OK. Yeah, I agree, Big Bump. Thank you. All you OK haters. He's on Absolutely Kosher Records. Well, today, remember 90-pound wuss? 90-pound wuss. 90-pound wuss. Don't repeat that last word, kids. Headed by Jeff Suffering. I played 2 of his albums, or 90-pound wuss albums. They were on Tooth and Nail Records. It was punk rock, and that was punk rock. As in, like, rough and wild and emotional, Beta. But really earnest. It felt earnest at the time when I was in high school, when I discovered them. Well, he went on to come up with a group called Suffering, as in Jeff Suffering, Suffering and the Hideous Thieves. This album was from, I think, 2001, pre-9/11, guys. Real panic formed. The track that I'm about to share with you is the first track on their album, out on Velvet Blue Records. Shout out to Velvet Blue Records. I don't know if they're still in existence. Affiliated loosely with Starflyer 59, or one guy from there, which I've also played. This track is entitled, All My Friends Are on Prozac. And Prozac, I think, is an antidepressant or something like that. So it's a little bit of, don't take it too seriously, guys, but he's just talking about the fallen state, basically. Suffering and the Hideous Thieves. All My Friends Are on Prozac. Enjoy this track, and I'll be right back in a few minutes, guys. Hang tight for the rest of Hour 2.
right in my backyard. It's everything that I've escaped. It's everything that I hate. You can't keep me here now. It's never been my home. And I don't want to live here anymore. This town just makes me so ill. I don't want to be your little boy. I can't take one more day alone. This place just doesn't seem real, and I'm so sick and tired here. So send me off to bed now. I won't be coming home. Too much humidity in this heat. So many pills I have to take, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends aren't home, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are alone, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are home, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are
So good. Cut my life into pieces. At least nobody's screaming, shouting like wild animals. Thank you, Lord Grimm. Prozac is mostly fluoride, and fluoride makes you dumb, says Hate Speech. I did not know this. Where's Skip? Is Skip really worried about me now? Beautiful though, huh?
And all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are home, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are alone, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are home, and all my friends are on Prozac, and all my friends are alone.
Sounds like The Cure, but bad. These dudes got to be emo, says Radulaser. I heard my... Why do I hear my voice? I think I didn't turn down the music enough, maybe. Oh. You have the show going? Or is it me? Oh, no, I'm hearing my voice. I think I didn't turn down the volume enough. The year is 2002. Hake rejuvenated. Whiny mess. This is terrible music. Clean shaven Hake. It's nice. Nice rhythm. Thank you, man. Thank you. Some non-musical Philistine in my chat. I knew I would find you. What the heck, the voice? This man needs a hug. The vocals are terrible. Is this going to pick up eventually? Yeah, from Prozac to the needle after this. It's okay, a little depressing though. Whites always have to be depressing. I've noticed that too, Kevin Howe. That's why I've said that it's a evidence of the decline. think of all the whites who've committed suicide, supposed whites, who were propped up by non-Christians. You look at the guy from, well, Ian Curtis. Who is Ian Curtis, the guy from that one band from the 80s? And then they turned into New Order. And that guy from Nirvana, he allegedly committed suicide, or maybe his wife killed him, who knows? No, I don't think his wife killed him. And then Elliott Smith, the singer-songwriter, Joy Division, yeah. Elliott Smith stabbed himself with a steak knife. He might have been on something. Or maybe his half-Japanese girlfriend stabbed him, who knows? But I don't think so. Same half-Japanese girlfriend who was girlfriends with Rivers Cuomo, the Weezer guy who's a mess. Hake is a compulsive, chronic shoegazer. What did you want? Death metal vocals? Thank you, Germanic Spaniard. Even the fingernail is extra clean. Hake, nice. Was this your childhood traumatizing music? Yeah, I don't think this is that's not shoegaze. It's sort of more like orchestral mess. Yeah, I don't know what that guy was doing wearing a priest collar. Maybe he really is a priest. They're from the Seattle area, guys. I went to see these guys twice. Once down at the All Ages Club in Anaheim, California, and then once up in Seattle, Washington, when I was visiting friends up in the Pacific Northwest. Viewer USA says, not a big believer in pharmaceuticals personally, but with how depressing this emo music is. It's not emo, man, but it's emotional. I can kind of see why all his friends are on Prozac. Play some Tool instead of this rubbish, Hake, says John Rios. Nice, man. This was an okay song. Yeah, some of you guys liked okay last week. Excellent musicianship. Some of you guys did not like his voice. But anyway, guys, you can call in 888-775-3773. I thought I would wear my Joyful Noise t-shirt in light of playing Suffering and the Hideous Thieves. All my friends are on Prozac, depressed sort of music. Joyful Noise is not a Christian label. They're liberals. But I like some of the stuff that they came out with back in the day. I think they're still together. I think they're still a label. Speaking of this phony feeling sorry for people, stuff like that, and the UN, which are enemies of America and enemies of all decent people, I'm sure that there are some decent people inside the UN. The IPCC, there was one guy who was a decently honest scientist, quoted in Breitbart News, I think, years back, who was shut out of the IPCC, something like that, IPCC, International Panel on Climate Change Conference, something like that. Totally butchering the name. But you know how the UN is pushing climate change. Give us money, United States. Give us money, rich countries, so that we can force climate change measures on you. Ridiculous. Take the wealth of America and redistribute it to themselves. And then some of them are ideologues. They really believe the nonsense that they spew. Female-minded liberals, communists and others. Communists are enemies of all decency. Enemies of truth, they really are. Communism is just another word for liar, basically. It's just a form of a liar. Elon Musk. I don't know if you know this, but I reported last week, I think, that he's the richest man in the world, ahead even of Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy. And so CNN came out with this headline, 2% of Elon's wealth could end world hunger. And it was something like $4 billion or $6 billion or $8 billion or something like that. Because he has like many, many billions of dollars. And And that was a quote put out by this UN World Food Program. Program spelled Programme. Program. 2% of Elon's wealth would solve world hunger. Stupid. Stupid. I mean, I'm not for nor necessarily against those GMOs, genetically modified organisms, right? That they say, Monsanto is making GMOs. The corn that they make is rapidly able to be cropped, right? Something like that. And it's bad for you, but you're making a lot more crops. But that's doing more to solve world hunger is one of the propaganda things. I don't know. World hunger. There's no such thing as world hunger. But, they pretend like they're going to solve the war on poverty here in America. We don't have real poverty in America. Well, we're getting to have real poverty in America now, thanks to the commie capitalist shutdowns, destroying the local businesses in favor of the big businesses that are already in bed with the federal government and corrupt in their influences, as I call them, commie capitalists. So I saw Elon Musk tweeted, "What's this?" And there's been like reports of so-called sex crimes, and in some cases they may really have been against children, against women, against males even, in exchange for food by UN people, UN-affiliated people, or stuff that the UN was involved in. And many times no arrests. With the Ebola thing, they tried to pretend like they were helping the Ebola situation. Ebola is this crazy disease in like Congo. And there was all this rapes and other sex abuse in exchange for money. This commie black Dr. Tedros of the corrupt World Health Organization inside the United Nations has been involved in all kinds of mess and shenanigans, the World Health Organization themselves. And somebody tweeted out that the budget last year, or they brought in like over $8.6 billion of World Food Program brought in like $8.6 billion, and that didn't solve their world hunger. Some guys no, it won't solve it, but it'll prevent destabilization and stuff like that. These people are dumb liberals. And Elon Musk called it out. He's like, "What's all this?" And he points to sex crimes from the UN people in exchange for money. Oh, you can have food. You can have food, but you have to do this sex thing first. Corrupt, sick people. And they don't care. Jose Dez says that the UN is full of degenerates like that. Yeah. They push the LGBTIQ mess. They're not for what's right. They're pushing their own false religion, communism. Sick stuff. Sick. So right on. Well, I mean, I don't know much about Elon Musk. I'm not for that guy necessarily. Not necessarily. But as billionaires go, he's less harmful to Jeff Bezos or that guy who changed his name he changed the name of Facebook to be Meta, which supposedly means death, according to the Hebrews. Jeff Zuckerberg. Or George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg. Did I say Jeff Zuckerberg? I don't know, these people. Bunch of lame, evil people. I think I got some super chats from Bible Go-To Guy. Let me just double check here. You sound like Abraham trying to justify not destroying Sodom and Gomorrah by saying there must be some decent fellows living there. I know. Referring to, I forget what I was talking about. This is another myth referring to American Indian Heritage Month, says Bible Go-To Guy. Indians teaching European settlers how to farm. So the Europeans didn't know how to farm before the Indians taught them? What were they doing? Eating manna from the sky before they met the Indians? Fair question. I don't know. I think that there was something that they knew how to do. Or some type of food that they were using that we were not familiar with. I heard growing up. It's what I heard. I got to show you this. You know how there's an attack upon the white people? I was perusing Twitter on like Friday or Saturday or something like that. And normally I don't like to, but I saw this beer commercial, beer advertisement, anti-white advertisement. And there's some sick stuff going on, right? Clip 14. This is from Dos Equis. Dos Equis is a beer, right? It's like Mexican beer, I think. Heavily promoted in America. College football is here. Celebrate the season with a smooth Dos Equis lager. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a light beer, right? Get a dose. Hashtag. And let me set up this commercial before I play it for you. Let me see if I can watch it alongside you guys. Let me go to trovo.live/The Hake Report. That is a quick turnaround. Not that I endorse... oh, no, I'm not on trovo.live. I completely forgot. Let me see if I can click play on this. Okay, I'm watching on Odyssey alongside you guys. There is the token white guy with a beta body. I want to use a different B word, body, but beta body, a beer drinking body, kind of fat, out of shape, purportedly a male fan of sports, hanging out with a bunch of Hispanics and POCs, right? And this Hispanic girl sitting across from him just clowns him. And he's wearing like a red cap and red jersey, and they're wearing like green or blue jerseys or caps or something like that. Basically a bunch of Democrats with a Republican, or a bunch of POCs with a white. And she snatches his hat off his head and puts it under the table to hold up the table leg. You know how table legs at restaurants, oftentimes they're rocking around and they need something stuffed under it, like a shim, to hold it steady. She does that with his hat, and he just does nothing, chuckling about it. Look at this video, and then look at the reaction, too. Watch. A dose of outnumbered. Takes his hat, and he's laughing. Black guy laughing. She's clowning him. Look at that. And so I'm like, what? What is... And then so I go in to read the replies because I can't believe what I'm seeing. And the replies are shameful. College football is here. Celebrate the season with a smooth Dos Equis lager. Says Dos Equis on Twitter. Isn't this hate speech? Seems like hate speech to me. Just clowning these guys. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. So I go down and look at the reactions. Throwing hands if somebody does that to my hat. Wonder if the red hat thing symbolizes Trump, some guy says. The only thing a red hat is good for, leveling a table in a bar. They're pretending it's a Trump supporter. But the real thing is, it's a white guy, the only white guy. People are shocked. Loving the red tea is the table wedge. Gotta love me some Dos Equis. Bro, so we're promoting bullying, some guy says. Literal propaganda. If you're not willing to pay the money to license real teams because they don't show any real teams, you shouldn't do that. It seems inauthentic. A woman would have gotten slapped. She didn't say woman. Especially since most sports paraphernalia is expensive. Not drinking your beer till you stop disrespecting that red hat with a T on it. I know what you're doing, says Stephanie. Did she just use a Trumpish hat as a table wedge? Oops, sorry for the cuss word, kids. FJB. Forget Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon. Stuff. Some people replied, there's no hidden message in this at all, says one guy. Sorry for the bad words, kids. What a B word. And so I look over the quote tweets. Imagine if someone took your hat and did this, some guy said, laughing. What a simp. This is what a simp looks like, some guy says. The disrespect. Clown and the white man. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Just in your face. Terrible, huh? What a mess. Well, that's that. That's that for that. Don't ever take my hat, says Nordic Frost. Rhonda Clark says, I hire Mexicans and whites. Best people on earth. Simp white guy. I would have gone up and thrown her hat on the road and left, says Super Dave. Yeah. Shame on that guy for even participating in that commercial. Or maybe he's an accelerationist. He wants to get the whites riled up by purposely looking like a simp, looking like a coward. Cheap beer anyway, cheap commercial. This is Super Dave. And I'm cleaning up what he said. He said something better. It was catchier the way he wrote it. Terrible. Sick stuff, huh? It's shameful enough they're drinking beers. Yeah, I know. Beer is estrogenic. Don't drink beer, guys. It turns you effeminate. Like all the other stuff that they promote. Pornography and all that stuff. Don't do it. Turn the AC back on. I can tell. Oh my gosh. Thank you. What's happening? What's happened to Hake's hair? I cut it. Quick super chats, guys. Quick super chat. A single mom doing her best says, if they want American Indian Heritage Month, they can't have Columbus Day. Shoot, they should have neither. I agree. Beer makes me want to do push-ups, says Goyam Defender. Drink whiskey, says American Creationist. Yeah, but limit it. In moderation or not at all. Doesn't hurt you not to drink at all. Did you know that? Brandon M is unsubscribing again. Why? Beer makes you gay, says Shaggy Boy. Gross stuff, huh? Very sick. Let me just double check the Odyssey super chats. There's so many. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Anyway, you know why the many of the whites are acting like total simps, let's call it simps, because I want to say a C word that I've said before, but I like to limit my use of it. Just betraying what's right in favor of evil. Just allowing themselves to be clowned. You don't want to know what might be partly behind it? Women like this. Watch this. It's clip 11. Watch this video. Libs on TikTok tweeted this out. It is a bright, dyed-haired, red-haired, but not my kind of red hair. Do I have red hair? I'm not sure. Dyed red-haired, corpulent, portly lady. And I use the term loosely. She probably wants to be a lady. I don't know if she's morally straight or not, but she's a TikToker apparently. And she's using her little daughter, looks to be, I think they said she's 9 years old, daughter. purportedly a daughter. She looks a little old to have a 9-year-old daughter, but maybe really so. Some people look older than they really are, especially like some of the light skins. And you know how they're promoting the vaccines for children? This is one of the 27%, apparently, of so-called parents who are going to rush to so-called vaccinate, quote-unquote, vaccinate their children from the China virus. Watch this, if you can watch, or listen, or both. It's horrible.
This is my daughter.
Hi.
She's 9. We're about to
Cute.
blind react to something.
Blind react.
What does that say? Hold on, dear.
Ah, too loud. Is it too loud?
What does it say?
The COVID vaccine for kids is so next week should be clear for kids through 5 to 11.
What does that mean for you?
I
She's
can
9.
go with my friends.
And
I can finally, go outside, go to stores. I'm
Terrific.
excited.
I'm excited for her.
I thought it was gonna be like in a couple months. No, apparently it's next week. I love you, Mom.
I love you too.
I love you, Mom.
She's white. You need to get vaccinated. Okay. All right.
Terrible, huh? Misguided mama. Sorry if that clip was too loud. Apparently I didn't turn it down low enough. That's my fault. Is that her blood daughter? I don't know. Somebody called them Paige Shills. Bill West says Paige Shills. I don't know if that's true or not. Might be. But a lot of people, I dare say some people are sincerely that deluded. Did that girl actually say? Did she actually mean finally go outside? Finally from when? How long has it been since that girl, 9-year-old girl, was allowed outside? I don't know where they live. I don't know anything about this TikToker. I assume it's real. I think it's real. It's posted by libs on TikTok. Reposted. Liberals on TikTok, something like that. You guys seen that Twitter account? Yeah, libs of TikTok. And the brainwashed by the parents, you know how or brainwashed by the parents who are brainwashed by the mainstream media. Suckers. Where's the father? Or is she just not morally straight and she has a so-called, I don't want to speculate, but I don't know. And this little girl is saying, I love you, Mom. Now I can finally go outside and go out with my friends and go to stores. According to what I've read, and I don't know if what I've read is true, excuse me, I've heard that if you are a child, unlike with normal flu and cold or whatever, right? You're less likely to spread this thing. You're less likely to catch this thing and suffer with it. If you catch it, it's quite mild, unless you're overweight. Like I heard at least 170 children have died from the virus. And I laugh because out of however many millions, maybe approaching many tens of millions of children there are, ages 11 and younger, 5 to 11, who live in this country, only 170 have died. Childhood obesity is a major symptom here in America. Some people are surprised it's not. That was not a sneeze. It was kind of a sneeze. Anyway. I don't think they're really spreading this thing. By the way, the mother in this video, and I use the term mother loosely because I don't know if that's a real mother, was overweight. I called her corpulent, portly. I'm not trying to be mean, but she was fat, unhealthy. And now is the time to be healthy. I know that people, it's hard to have, especially if you're in a fallen state like that, you believe the mainstream media. It's a sign that you are a mess many times, and you lack self-control. I get it. I totally get it. Yes, kids help with herd immunity, says Radulaser. That's what Radulaser claims. I don't know if that's true. I'd preemptively disavow. More kids die drowning, says Coastin Rico. I read in Hake News today that they were talking about 2 million have been infected with this disease. 83,000 or 87,000 or something like that. Or 8,700, 8,000 something hospitalized with it, supposedly. But sometimes you could be hospitalized with something for something else, and then they check you and they find out, oh, yes, you have the China virus. We just didn't know it. But they count that as a hospitalization, I wonder. I don't know. I'm wondering. And this is not the first time that I've seen a child indoctrinated in this way. You know, the liberals and the atheists claim, oh, parents, Christian parents are indoctrinating their children to be little Christians and conservatives. That's terrible. Well, they're the ones who are guilty of this stuff. They're the ones who are indoctrinating their children to be degenerates and to believe stuff, hype that is not even necessary to believe in. What a shame. I saw another video sometime back of a kid, I think it was a boy, might have been a girl, all excited either with his mother or his sus father, dad, quote unquote. Might have been a little girl again. The kid was so excited and emotional. He's like, oh, yay, we're going to get the vaccine soon. And he started crying. You know how, like, a woman usually will get so excited and then they'll start crying, like fake tears of joy? Well, they're real tears, but fake joy? Ridiculous. And to see a child act like that, acting just like his mama. Just taking on that evil emotional spirit of the parents. Sick, huh? Man, that is shocking. To me, it's shocking. Get vaccinated, everybody. This mother who's fat. Not to be mean. Horrific. Day 591 says Sho Sugino of 15 days to flatten the curve. Exactly. I didn't even really buy that. I didn't buy it. Longest 2 weeks I've ever had. Yeah. 15 days is roughly 2 weeks. A little more. That kid's going to be a hat taker, says Michael. Stealing the hat of the... she's a cute little girl. Misguided children. Children aren't naturally like all emotional and into the politics of the day and the vaccine mess. It's hype. Morning Brew was pushing out NPR articles, CNN articles, New York Slimes articles. Parents should be patient about getting COVID vaccines for kids, says the White House. Be patient. You're going to want it, but don't all rush there at once. Don't overwhelm it. It's okay. But they're pushing on it. And Pfizer's not done yet. Pfizer's going to go and try to force, well, they're going to go testing on age 4 and under. They're really doing it. And they're talking about Morning Brew, because I get Morning Brew articles, which is, you guys ever heard That Chapter, I think? A channel called That Chapter. I heard about it. He does like little storytelling, kind of like Mr. Ballin. Shout out to Mr. Ballin. And he tells stories, right? He's a British or Irish guy, I think. That Chapter. I think it's called That Chapter. And he advertised Morning Brew, so I signed up for it because I like to get the news, the liberal media news. And they're promoting, talking about getting children vaccinated, and they're talking about, oh, vaccinating children could have a major impact on society. No more lockdowns of schools. We didn't need to lock them down in the first place, it doesn't seem like to me. Or am I just being too manly and logical? Far be it from me to be too manly and logical. But Pfizer's going to start testing 4-year-olds and younger. Yikes. There's more states that are banning the vaccine mandates. That's a good thing, according to CNN. And only 27% of parents want to get their children vaccinated right away. I think 30% of parents, no, heck no, we're not going to do it. Parents. Some decent, a third are decent, and more than a quarter are absolutely insane. That's you, Hake. Too manly, LOL. Anyway, guys, thank you for bearing with me through all that. Let me get to a call. Felipe, first-time caller out of Sacramento, California, has a story to talk about. Crazy commercial. Felipe, how are you doing? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
I'm very well. No man is good. I'm very well.
Nice. It's Felipe, right? Or is it Philippe?
Felipe.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Man, I saw that Twix commercial with the little boy in the dress.
Tell me about it, because I haven't seen that commercial.
Oh, my God, dude. Like, I have 4 nephews, and I'll be damned if they wear a fucking dress.
Keep it clean, Felipe. Don't cuss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
This is a family show.
I'm sorry.
I accept. I accept your apology. Yeah.
Okay. Lo siento. But yeah, man, what are they? They're indoctrinating young kids with these ideologies of homosexuality. Like, that's not.
Oh, yes, I did see this commercial. Nico showed it to me.
Dude,
Nick. Yeah, it was.
Right.
Okay, so there's this witchy-looking witch girl woman.
Yes, which indoctrinates paganism.
Yeah, and she is purportedly, I guess, the babysitter woman or mother or sister or aunt.
Right, yes.
For a little boy who's wearing a pink dress saying, do you want to wear that? Yes.
Right.
And so this boy is wearing a dress, so she drives him out.
What you don't see, I'm sorry to cut you off, Andy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What you don't see is a father there preventing this from happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you have that commercial?
We're rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man.
On GOP? We're going to play that commercial after I talk with you, man. That is...
Oh, man.
And then so there's this boy, this actual boy, who looks like a boyish boy.
Yeah.
Too masculine. Goes up and, quote-unquote, bullies the boy in the dress. And then the witch blows him away with some spell.
Right.
And that's a Twix commercial. What's that have to do with Twix?
That bully, that quote-unquote bully, he was actually keeping it real and telling that little other boy, like, why are you wearing a dress?
Yeah. He didn't even really do anything bad, huh?
Go and put on a pair of pants and be a fucking man. Be a freaking man.
How old are you?
I am 37, sir.
Oh, okay. He's a millennial. 37.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I let a couple F words slip out. I apologize for that, Hake.
Yeah, you did. But I accept your apology. On behalf of the audience, I apologize too.
And tell skateboard White Chris, hola, ¿cómo estás? And tell
he doesn't understand you.
And the anchor baby Nick.
Nice.
Nicholas, what's up?
Yeah.
I listen to you guys a lot, man.
Appreciate it, Felipe. Have you come down from Sacramento for church or a men's forum before? Have we met you?
Not yet. So check it out, man. So it was actually my father. He is the one who turned me on to Jesse and
nice.
And then I went from there. I went down the rabbit hole.
Right on, man. That's
cool. So yeah, me and my dad plan on because we live up here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
We plan on driving down there to go do a men's forum.
Nice. Yeah. Did you ever make it to the Straight Pride rally that we did up in Modesto, California?
Dude, I watched the video, but I wasn't able to make it.
Okay. No worries, man. A working man. I respect that.
Yeah. I work for a lumber yard, but anyway.
Nice. I used to go to lumber yards a lot because I worked in the custom cabinetry industry, and we would pick up lumber for... Yeah.
I heard you say that before, yeah.
Yep. That's cool, man.
All right.
Nice job.
Fuck it. God bless God, and no man is good, and we're rebuilding a family by rebuilding the man.
Yeah. Thank you, Felipe. Appreciate you, man.
All right. You have a great day, Hake.
You too. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Yeah, Twix, if you're not familiar, if you've been living under a rock, Twix, I used to like Twix. I hated Kit Kat. Kit Kat's disgusting. It's not that bad anymore. I hated Three Musketeers. I liked Snickers all right. I really loved Butterfinger, and I liked Twix. Twix is like caramel. They come in two. And it has like cookie on the inside, but not gross cookie. And it has chocolate on the outside. But it's pretty good. Or it used to be. Now it's evil. Is it from Mars? Mars Bar? No, I don't like Mars. But they own everything, huh? And they're advertising. Do you have the thing ready? Let's play this. Look at this commercial. Disgraceful. Cover your ears, children. It's disturbing.
Twix presents Bite-Size Halloween.
Hi. I'm your new nanny.
I don't need a nanny.
Boy in a purple dress.
Well, your parents seem to think you do.
Why are you all dressed up? It's not Halloween yet.
What
You buckled?
I'm still wearing my princess dress.
Do you want to wear it?
And he's nodding yes.
You
Princess
look
dress.
like a girl. Why are you wearing that?
Dressing like this makes me feel good.
Is that your nanny? She looks weird. You look weird. Your nanny looks weird. You guys are both weird.
No, we're just different.
Boys don't wear dresses.
That's a fact.
Whoa!
Just fact.
What's happening?
Come on.
And she blows away the boy in the cape. Happy Halloween from Twix. Oh, yeah, because Twix sells candy to give out for trick-or-treating. Hake, what happened to the biblical question, asks Den Tiet Jin. I don't know. I know we didn't answer it on the... That's not related to this show. But we didn't answer it in church. And I don't know if it was answered in the radio show this morning. That's a question for Nico. But thank you for the question. That just caught my eye. Twix, that's evil. And by the way, I heard that Halloween Kills stunk as a cheap movie. Cheap. Murder is okay as long as it's witches. The boy tells the boy the truth. The boy in the cape tells the boy in the dress the truth. That's weird. You're weird. And so is your so-called nanny. When I was a kid, they were called babysitters. Nannies were for rich people. H. George, 1993, thinks the nanny was pretty. Pretty evil. Yeah, that's the ones sometimes you got to watch out for them, too. Well, the ugly ones are oftentimes evil, too. Terrible. Candy makers weren't evil before, says Robert Lee, and he seems, maybe he's being sarcastic. Yeah. No. Candy's not good. Not that good. Not good for you. Brainwashing the children. So wrong. So sick. You know, and they're pushing this stuff on the little black kids, too. Did you know that? They're pushing this fake racism stuff. And on the college kids. And you have to call them kids, too, because they're acting like children. I'll get to your super chats real quick, guys, but they're saying that there's big money behind traffic stops. Ooh, what's new? What's new? This is the New York Slimes / Morning Brew propaganda for you. And by the way, Webster is fake news. I'll tell you about that in a second. But police have justifiably killed more than 400 unarmed, but nevertheless out of control, civilians during traffic stops. Gotta stretch out a little bit. In the past 5 years, according to a report from the failing New York Slimes, shows that these potentially lethal situations are supposedly in part motivated by the outsized impact that ticket revenue has on communities. This is a lot like what they were claiming about the Ferguson, Missouri What about Reese's, Hake? Oh, yeah, Reese's Pieces. Or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Probably degenerate as well, I'm quite sure. All of those. Watch out. Yeah, I used to love those, though, as a kid. Sucker for peanut butter. Fines and fees account for at least 10% of city revenue in 730 municipalities, the New York Slimes found. They had to do this thing. They're pretending that it's racism, too, by the way. In one town, Henderson, Louisiana, $1.7 million in fines collected made up 89% of their general revenues in 2019. Shocking. The dependence on ticket revenues for funding municipal source services has warped public safety incentives, the critics claim, right? Leading to, listen to this, over-policing. Over-policing. Over-policing is not a problem for POC communities, I will dare say. If anything, it's under-policing. Mass incarceration, it's under-incarceration in many cases. Although we need more than just that. Those are just Band-Aids. We got to... And Band-Aids are necessary. But we got to get the families back in order. Bring back shame. Get these women back in order. Listen to this. It also leads to public mistrust of officers. No, your fake propaganda about police brutality and racism is leading to public mistrust of officers. Granted, we have seen people, cops included, enforcing dumb communist mandates and stuff like that. You know, the communist shutdowns enforced by cops, not a good thing. And taking the children away from the fathers, taking the fathers to jail when it's the mothers who are the aggressors oftentimes in domestic disputes, right? So we know that. Shout out to MGTOW Misfit. Is he there in the chat? Is MGTOW Misfit still in my chat? Or has he lost patience and left? The federal government plays a big role in all of this, handing out $600 million a year in highway safety grants that encourage traffic stops. Officials told the Slimes that there are no quotas for ticket writing. 20% plus of states do evaluate other officer performance by quotas, right? How many traffic stops? Advocates of reform say cities need to decouple policing from revenue generation to eliminate these misguided incentives. But it's also a disincentive. If you're gonna get fined, anyway, they said, oh, perhaps we should just simply automate more traffic enforcement. Automation, oh yeah, that's gonna be real good. No. Pretending that the blacks who are getting stopped for traffic, it's their fault most of the time. Traffic violations, they die in car accidents at more than twice their share of car owners, according to the National Highway Safety Transportation Administration, whatever. Per New York Post writer Dr. John R. Lott Jr. And those who die in car accidents are more likely to have prior moving violations. So this driving while black stuff, give me a break. The New York Slimes are subversives. They're not for anything right. Let me get to William in California. He wants to talk about this unarmed police killings thing. William, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Long time no talk to. How you been?
Been well.
That's good. Yeah, I was just cleaning up and listening to you, not looking, but just listening and everything. But that's one of the biggest myths.
Yeah.
Is that thing about unarmed people being killed by the police.
Right.
Everybody that puts that out there, they're smart enough to know, well, maybe they're not. Because you can ask people in the military that have training, and they don't have to have a weapon to be dangerous.
Right. They say they're driving a car. Driving a car, that's a dangerous weapon.
Correct.
Yeah.
The police manual says you do not need a weapon to be dangerous.
Right.
Now, if I were to let's say you're a police officer and you get a domestic violence call, the guy doesn't even have a gun in the house.
Right. Yeah.
Is he dangerous?
No, they are. It's ridiculous.
You are dangerous even if you don't have a weapon. If you pose a threat to a peace officer, somebody needs to stop telling black people that it's okay to resist arrest. You're presenting a threat when you resist arrest.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you spoil black people. You're running around playing all these games about everything, and then you want to bring up slavery in the situation. Where does slavery come in with police brutality?
I know. Well, the police were the slave patrols because we didn't like, shocker, big shocker, slave owners in their communities did not like slaves running away before paying for their freedom.
Well,
what are we supposed to do? Just let them run away?
I'm glad you said that.
Give me
I'm
a
glad
break.
you said that. This is to the Israelites. Okay. The big myth is that you had all these millions of black people running through the bushes, sticker bushes, with snake-infested bushes in the deep South. You don't walk barefooted to New York.
That's awesome if they do.
They some did, but I can tell you this: leaving your owner was very, very dangerous.
Right.
And you really didn't get beat upside a tree until you did something like that.
Right.
So when you get to talking about what racism is and what it isn't, black people, you were slaves about like 2,000-3,000 years before everybody else was. I don't know why yours is so special. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't even be celebrating Black History Month. You haven't done anything impressive besides play basketball.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I hate to break your hearts, blacks. What have you done? I mean, and why do you call into the radio stations and when they say, okay, black crime right now in this country is out of control, the first thing they say, what about the white crime?
I know. They don't, it's all about whataboutism. And the whites.
Jesus Christ, you sound like my
terrible.
niece.
Yeah. You know, I encourage people to check out yesterday's Church with Jesse Lee Peterson about brainwashing and racism and communism. And it's been around for decades. It's evil, man.
Yes.
I appreciate it, William.
Look what they're doing to us men. Look what they're doing to us men.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got the high school with the kids. Was that the boys doing a lap dance on the teachers?
And they're wearing girls' underwear.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's on camera.
You don't even want to mention the company that the uniforms were from. And then you got the other teacher that takes the elementary school teachers to a field trip at a gay bar.
Right.
What are you guys trying to do to us?
I don't even get it. I don't get the excuse.
And
man,
black
William.
women, man, you guys, I'm going to get off and let this go, man, because your feelings get hurt. But black women, look what you've done. You're so this and that. Look what you've done. Look at your kids.
Yeah,
look at
we
your
got
grandkids.
We all got to get handle the women better. That's for sure, man. I appreciate it, William.
They don't have anybody handling them.
Right. I know.
What they need is a bonnet on their head and some clothespins and get back to the basics and take them washing machines and dryers out of them houses.
Thanks,
Take
William.
care, man.
You too, man. Take
All
care.
right.
All right. Let me play this. Cordell requested this. Cordell. Shout out to Cordell, man. Shout out to the black truckers and the other truckers. This was that police chase video that you may have seen on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, just in reference to these stops. Remember this? Listen, watch this. This is that video that we played on the JLP show. It's a crazy police stop. This guy ran a red light, cop chasing him. Look how fast he's going. Speed racer. Nice suburb. What in the world? Now they're taking away the black kid. Daily Mail reported a Florida TikTok star deliberately sparked a 100-mile-an-hour police chase. So this is upstanding black kid TikToker. It's just for TikTok. It's just for the video guy. 18-year-old. More than 4 million followers on TikTok. And now he's arrested. 10:30 in the morning, by the way. Crazy. Damari Mikula. Or maybe I should say blah, 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 blah. Florida Highway Patrol. They asked him why he led them on. He said he's young, makes a lot of money, and can do whatever he wants. Crazy, huh? Ridiculous. Real quick, guys, let me get to another call. Maze, my favorite caller in Dayton, Ohio. How are you doing?
Hello, James. How are you today?
Doing fine. Thank you. You're coming in kind of quiet. Speak up.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard William having his tantrum against black people.
Especially black women.
Well, that's his problem, too, because he don't
Do you have your bonnet and clothespin on?
What?
You wearing your bonnet and clothespin?
I don't wear a bonnet and clothespin. Now, what else? Other crazy
Go ahead. We only got a couple minutes left.
Tell William.
No.
What? I wanted to ask him a question. Because I don't like talking at people. I like to talk to people. See,
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Respond to what he said.
He just broke every commandment, God law that was out there. Just like I say, he's rubbing him every day with the rhetoric that come out of his mouth. He want to talk about black people, but he talk about them in third person. So what is he?
No, he's addressing them second person. He's saying you. He's saying you blacks.
He said black people were always been slaves. If he knew his history, that's a lie.
Whatever.
Because ask him who fed him and made sure he didn't starve with the peanut man.
With the peanut butter?
And if he wouldn't have came up with the peanut man wouldn't have came up with something.
You're talking about peanut butter?
He'd have been dead. Yes.
Oh gosh.
Peanut
butter did not save William's life.
Peanut butter.
You're just making up stuff.
No, James. The person that fed him from Tuskegee came up with a way to feed him.
Tuskegee?
Yes, from Tuskegee. You know what Tuskegee is? In Alabama. Down in the South. Yes. So he'd been starving somewhere. If it wouldn't have been for people like that coming up with ways to feed him.
I don't understand you, Maze.
Him as a Caucasian man, he'd have been dead.
I don't get it. But thank you, Maze.
He hates history, but he loves monuments. I don't understand that. Could you explain that to me?
He does not hate history. You're just putting words in his mouth.
He hates what happened in history, but he loves the monuments.
What does he hate about it? What does he hate? What does he hate that happened in history?
Excuse me?
It seems like you're the one who hates what happened in history. You
don't want to talk about history.
No, you hate that you were told to move off the sidewalk for the white people. You're the one who hates what happened in history.
I don't hate anything.
Yeah, you do.
Like I say, I have pity for people like him.
Would you ever move off the sidewalk if you saw me coming?
No.
See?
Because you
were full of hate.
Because I know how you are. I think if you got
how am I?
And what?
How am I?
We have to go to the sidewalk to see. And listening to the things that come out
I
of your
would move
mouth.
off the sidewalk for you because I'm a gentleman.
I don't know what happened to y'all.
I got to go, man.
Black people are not y'all problem.
Great call.
William. And I hope you get that, too. We are not your problem.
Peanut butter saved the world.
Because brother against brother in this country, and there wasn't black people doing it. Have a good one, James.
You too, Maze. I appreciate you. Very nice. Guys, we got to end. Here is Ugly by Suffering and the Hideous Thieves from 2001 album. I think it's 2001. Real Panic Formed on Velvet Blue Records. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.